Hi everyone and welcome to EVE Talk, your weekly look at the EVE Online markets. I'm your host delonewolf, and man, that live event in New Caldari, that was quite a lot of fun, pretty unexpected. But since my delonewolf character is a Caldari, I have to wonder what the hell is thinking and what's going on in the state. Will we see some civil war? Personally, I'm starting to think this is all ramping up towards a major event during FanFest, and if I were to venture a guess, I would say it'll have something to do with Titan in Luminaire, but we'll have to wait and see on that. We're here for the markets, so let's start off with Tritanium and the minerals as always. Let's have a quick look just at the price of Tritanium, but I don't think 581 for the sellers, 572 for the buyers. That sounds a little bit lower. And let's take show graph. It is on the 3-month chart. Yeah, very slowly it's edging below 6 ISK. So let's have a look if pyrite has stopped its ascent, which it seems to have. Prices in station 1537, 1536, no margin at all for pyrite, so that could indeed indicate a top. So I would say I don't think it'll breach 16 ISK anytime soon. Let's have a look at Mixalon. That one's trending down a little bit, not too badly, still holding on above 50 ISK, but definitely trending down. Let's have a look at prices in Cheetah Station 50, 54, 50, 40. So that's once again no margin whatsoever. Yeah, I would have to say supply of especially the high-sec minerals is very stable at the moment and possibly growing. I wouldn't be surprised if we're starting to see some of the people that started with Retribution start to get into Retrievers and stuff like that, and that does their increasing supply, which was already very stable after the mining barge changes, and that just means that the prices are slowly going down but hardly moving at all. As you can see, Isogen once again very stable and slowly trending down. So it's pretty interesting. It does look like miners might have a lot of competition from newer players, and yeah, this does mean that prices are slowly dropping, and thus efficiency for miners, especially high-sec miners, is slowly dropping. Does botting have something to do with it? Possibly. I don't want to put any numbers on that myself, only CCP knows those, but it could of course have an impact if we're seeing more high-sec miners. I hope that's not the case. I hope it's due to increased activity in EVE Online with 500,000 subs. I definitely think that's a possibility over assuming that there's a horde of bots out there all of a sudden. Let's move on then to Take One Ships, the Drake, knowing some quirky moments there, but still holding at around or above 50 million. Yeah, it's just about that, 50.5 million, 47.8 million for the buyers, so no margin there either. But I think it's still a good thing to see that the Drake is holding on at 50 million. It's not gone down completely like what it looked like around September when the changes to the heavy missiles were announced. I mean, it dropped in just a few months from 53, I would say, all the way down to maybe 47, something like that. So that was a really big correction due to speculation on future nerfs, but I do think it turns out it was not that bad. The Drake is still a pretty powerful ship. Let's have a quick look at the Maelstrom for Take One Ships. That's a lot more stable. Maelstrom holding well above 200 million. Let's have a quick look at the 3-month chart. Maybe we can see, well, it's I would say you're slowly starting to see the 20-day moving average flattening out, and you're starting to see 5-day moving average points below that. So it is possible that the minerals will have a bit of an impact there. If they do indeed continue to slowly go down, Take One Ships might slowly go down with them. So pretty interesting, something to keep an eye out. If you're a Take One manufacturer like myself and a Take One miner, it does mean that ISK will be a bit harder to come by because of just greater competition, more newer players starting to be active in these fields. Let's have a look then at the Take Two market. Guardian chart. This is a 3-month chart. You can still see 5-day moving average going above and below the 20-day moving average chart on a series pretty repeatedly is what I want to say. Slowly going up there at the tail end for the Guardian. Let's have a quick look at the prices then of the logistics cruisers, advanced cruisers, logistics marked Guardian prices. 122 for the buyers, 132 for the sellers. Amazing. The Guardian has come back when it comes to the margin. 10 million ISK margin. It's not great, but it's you could definitely try and get some trade money out of a margin like that. Let's have a look at the Basilisk. 121, 130. A little less, around 9 million, but still 8 to 9 million, but still a decent margin. The Guardian looks a bit better for trade though at the moment. Oneros 127, 138, so that's 10 to 11 million margin. And let's have a look at the Scimitar. 126, 132, so that's just 6 million ISK margin. Scimitar looking not to be the one you want to sink your trade money in this week. I think it was the peak for last week though. And as you can see here, the 5-day moving average has moved below the 20-day moving average, so we're seeing a small margin now. Whereas the Guardian's gone above there, and we have once again I think a trade-worthy margin in the Guardian market. So at the moment on the side I'd try to do some Oneros trading, but because it has the largest margin, but it's not traded as much. I think I can show that in the table here. 46 to 61, 40, 55, even 16, 22 on a bad day. Let's have a look at the Amar numbers. Well, not that much higher, but you get 40 to 50, 40 to 60, 30 to 60. Actually, I'm a bit surprised by that. I would have expected the Guardian to be traded more, although you do clearly see some outliers with 66, 108 right there. So they are traded a bit more, but I'm surprised. Well, actually, no, you don't. You do see a few outliers there as well, but the averages you do see 10s and 20s far more often in the Oneros market, whereas the Amar Guardian market 30, 40 seems to be the average. That's almost double still. So yeah, I would definitely look at the Guardian more. Then at the Oneros for making some trade profits at the moment. So that's it for the Tech 2 market. I still think it's a very strong trading market. Let's move on to Tech 3, melted nano ribbons. Interesting. Even on the 3-month chart, you can see it, the 5-day moving average moving up significantly, above 5.6 million. 20-day moving average starting its ascent as well. 5.7 million for the sellers. That's pretty high. It's been 5.4, something like that, for a pretty long time. But even the buyers have moved up above 5.5. So yeah, either some inflation or just some problems in wormhole space, some losses or something like that of supply. But melted nanoribbons going up. Let's have a look then at the Loki chart. 5-day moving average jumping up here as well, and above the 20-day moving average. Pretty interesting. I want to have a quick look at the Tango chart as well. Yeah, same thing. That's pretty damn interesting actually. It's so interesting. I also want to have a look at the other strategic cruisers. So let's have a quick look at the Legion. Same thing on the chart here, and Galente Proteus, not as visible, but yeah, still an uptick right there on the 5-day moving average, which is trying to reach the 20-day moving average. Of course, you can see from the graph that the Proteus has been much more stable than the other Tech 3s. So very interesting. It's looking like Tech 3 is going up. Excuse me. So yeah, Tech 3 market definitely going up. I would say it's due to the raw materials, especially the nano ribbons moving up like that, up to 5.7, 5.8 million even, and that this does have an impact on the Tech 3 ships, which are basically what the Tech 3 market is all about. Quick look then at the fuel blocks, but yeah, it was rising a little bit, but now it's going back down, still stable at around 13.5k. Let's have a look at technetium. 5-day moving average dropping back down towards 78,000 for technetium. 20-day moving average started to move back down as well. So I do think this was a bit of a speculative bubble right here that we're seeing. Once again, I think it'll come back down towards 78,000 and generally stay there until CCP decides to change stuff about either technetium or POSes. So moon mining or POSes, or news items you want to keep an eye out for technetium hints. Let's move on to what else have I left here. Isogen, I had already got that. No, we're moving on to Plex then. Interesting 3-month chart, way down from around 600 to some data points below 500. Pretty interesting. Let's have a look at the 1-year chart. Once again, you can see that the downtrend is setting in. A lot of data points and 5-day moving average points coming close to 500 million. So let's have a look at prices in Jita Station. 496 for the buyers, below 500, 505 for the sellers. That's pretty interesting. I've been buying Plex into Dixie, and I've been able to buy Plex as low as 480. We've seen average prices of 490, stuff like that. So that means I've bought 6 Plex by now, and although my first one was at 535 because I thought 550 would be the bottom, I've been able to lower my average price on all my Plexes, on all 6 of them, below 500 million, which does seem to be something that could become the bottom, because in Jita they are definitely holding on at around 505. And yeah, I think personally that Plex for longer term investment is a very good investment. After all, even assuming that Plex would drop desperately, like to 200-300 million or something like that, I could just turn that Plex into $15 by paying for my subscription for a month. Even if I don't make any profit on these Plex, they're very useful items to have, in my opinion, and they're never a bad investment. So yeah, I'm gonna continue to try and dollar cost average my Plex purchases. I think I might want to invest even more if prices continue to drop like that. Just trying to lower my average a bit more. I do expect that I'll be able to make a lot of profit out of that by the next winter expansion. That's a long-term investment, of course, but even if it doesn't turn out to be like that, I mean, I could now pay for my account using Plex for half a year. So it's pretty awesome to see these low Plex prices. This is probably mostly due to all the new players and a lot of sales that have been going on from CCP about Plex. And although they haven't intervened immediately in the market, they've basically lowered the value of Plex a little bit in dollar costs of purchasing Plex, and thus the price in ISK has dropped as well. And I think it's a sign that the market is still healthy, although it knows heavy speculation, because like I said, Plex is never a bad investment. Plex will always be in demand as long as EVE Online is around, which we all hope is forever. And there you go, guys, this week's look at the EVE Online market. I hope you get to buy your Plex as well, and I'll see you all next time.